my name is Cheyenne Ng. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Zembula, and today we are super excited to be here with you for a very special webinar, Zembula 2023 Product Highlights, where we will be diving into the platform live here for you today. And before we get started, I just want to go over a couple admin details. I will be sending this recording and the slides out if you want to reference it or share it with your colleagues that couldn't make it today. We will have time for Q&A at the end. So if a question comes up, make sure to submit it via the Q&A or chat, and I'll be sure to bring those up at the end. And then finally, Robert and Diane, off to you.
Hi, I'm Robert, co-founder CEO of Zembula. Founded the company 10 years ago at this point. We started off in scratch off and reveal within email, which was very campaign driven. And then about 3.5 years ago, we saw a major technology shift and decided to jump into live images. And I'm excited to be here today with Diane.
Awesome. Hey, everybody, I'm Diane. Some of you may know me. I'm the Director of Customer Success here at Zembula. So my team works with all of our customers to make sure they have the support they need to be successful in the platform. I've been here for about 7 years. So started back in the day with Reveal, and I'm really excited as well about the shift we've made to data-driven images. And I'm really excited to give you all a sneak peek of how the platform works. So take it away. Cool. So just to give you an overview of what we're going to be talking today, we want to give a bit of a background about our philosophy with the platform. And then we are going to explain some of the elements of the platform and then actually dive in and build out some content. And then we've got some bonuses at the end, and then we'll open it up to Q&A.
Should be a fun one.
Yeah.
Cheyenne, you want to go ahead with the poll question?
Yeah, before we dive in here, go ahead and let us know if you've ever logged into the Zembula platform before. Either you have or you haven't. Pretty easy question here. Give everyone a few seconds to answer. Okay, great. It looks like actually most of you haven't. So this will be a great opportunity for you to learn a lot more about how the platform works.
That's fantastic. So we'll talk a little bit about philosophy. We're going to go ahead and walk through the platform, but kind of the background on why we've built this platform and how we've approached it. It's really built for every marketer. You know, our goal is to democratize the power of data to help brands deliver personalization, and with a strong focus on how we can drive more revenue for your brands.
And yeah, from a customer standpoint, you know, our goal is to make it as easy as possible for you to do so. So, you know, so that data isn't relegated to the realm of just being developer or data analyst. We have graphic designers who work within the platform who are power users. We have email marketing managers, and we do have developers. So it's really a platform that's easy to use no matter what your role in the email marketing space is.
So just to give you an idea on the performance side, you know, our primary use case with our customers is our Smart Banner. And what we discovered was email triggered programs are very, very powerful. They have the highest revenue per email that's sent, but those triggers are in only about 8% of the email send. So if you're sending 1 billion emails, only about 80 million of them will actually have that content. The rest has little to no personalization. And this was where we saw a big opportunity. If we could help marketers drive performance in the other 92% of the email they send, we could really make an impact. And what we found through this process is that we can drive 15% more revenue across your entire email program by adding that triggered content into every email.
Awesome. And we do that through what we call a Smart Banner. And this is just a sneak peek of what we're actually going to be building in the platform. But essentially what a Smart Banner is taking that relevant information from those triggered emails and presenting it to the customer or to your contact on your list at the moment of open, so that each experience for the customer is hyper-personalized and the most relevant item or relevant messaging to get them to take action and drive revenue.
And on the right-hand side here, what we've got is an example of like a promotional master template where you would drop a snippet of code in that we then take control over what the content that's delivered in that area is. Let's go ahead and just jump into the process and the features that we've added.
Cool. So before we talk branding, what I want to kind of cover is how everything in the platform is set up to to promote ease of use, sorry, and make things as quick and simple as possible. So from setting up branding standards from fonts and colors that will be translated across all of the content in your platform or in your images and in our templates to the templates themselves, which we'll get into building as well. So again, I always liken it to the idea of like a polar bear in the snow. When you're looking at a blank canvas and you don't know where to start, we want to eliminate that roadblock, that panic, by creating a lot of consistencies across the platform. And we do that with setting up branding and then also templates. So what we have here and what we're actually going to build is an abandoned cart template. And so these templates are all data driven. So we have all the data elements plugged in here, and then we have basic standard information. And then what happens is the branding colors and fonts that you set up, which we'll show you, are going to be translated into these templates. So you already have a starting point. You can make other customizations, but it really doesn't require a lot of heavy lifting. It's all set up. Really, all you have to do is focus on making it pretty and on brand. And if you go to the next slide, we can talk about some of those data elements. So primary data elements that are part of this abandoned cart template, we've got first name. That's a no-brainer. We always have. We know that that's just an industry standard. But now we can bring in the cart item name or names, depending on the number of items in the cart, also the images, and then linking to the dynamic cart. So all the person has to do when they click on the banner is go to their cart and hit purchase, and then there you get your extra revenue. So let's dive in. Let's dive into the platform and show you kind of how we actually do that.
Okay, so we'll start with just kind of the setup of the brand and the fonts. So fonts, you can upload your own fonts. As many as you want. They can be OTF is preferred, but they can be TTF if that's what's available to you. When you look at the branding here, what we have is like a palette of colors that you can pick from, and you'll see in just a second that's in every color picker. So if you have colors that you just want to be available, you can go ahead and set those up. And then on this right-hand side, what we have is all the different types of text and colors that you might want described. So title text color is white. Background color is blue. The emphasis text color is magenta. So these are all things that you can go in and set. And then what happens is when we go into the editor and start building, you're going to be able to automatically use these colors to give you a really strong starting point. Let's go ahead and dive in and create this cart abandonment image. So I'm going to click on images. I'm going to go ahead and click on this universal image. We can create anything we want here. This is kind of the root of all creation within our platform. Abandoned cart. I can't spell right now. So we'll go with Robert's cart. And then it's 600 by 125. You can create this canvas any size you want. We'll go ahead and leave it the way it is and go ahead and click in. And what you're seeing now is this is the canvas that we just created. We have templates, settings, text elements, background data, all on this side. We're going to go ahead and start with a template. So our goal is to create that abandoned cart example. We're going to scroll down here to view all the different cart abandonment images we can bring in. And here's the one we want that looks the most like that design. I'm going to just drag this one in the first time to show you. It's going to be, the wrong colors. So that's a bummer. Let's go back and find it again. And this time I'm going to hold down the Option key when I bring it in. And you're going to see a window pop up. And this is going to it's going to show me the colors I already have mapped and the fonts I already have mapped. And it looks pretty good. We could change these if we wanted to, but we're going to go ahead and load this. So now you can see we're already multiple steps ahead in where we want to be. The next step is we need our data. So we're going to go down to data and we're going to go products and we're going to pull in this data source. You can pull in as many different data sources as you want to any image. You can also delete them and remove them so that you don't have to use them. But now that I've dragged it in, you'll see it's down here. It runs on a product ID. So one of the things with our campaigns is a lot of the logic is handled in the campaign, and it makes it much simpler to create these images where all that's getting passed through is the ID. So I'm going to come in here and let Diane talk for just a second.
Yeah, and as Robert's getting this set up, the other thing, speaking of data and different data sources, we have a variety of different data sources you can use. We can reference a CSV, we can connect directly to an API, we can access webhooks, and also you can blend data. So you may not have seen some of the other templates that we have, but we do have templates that maybe incorporate reviews. So if you use like Yotpo or Turn2 or any other reviews platform, you can bring that in as well. So we have everything from basic to more complex templates that you can work from.
And just to look at the data in here, you can see if I click on this, this is the product images animated. If there's an animated, if you have multiple products, it's going to automatically, or multiple images of the same product, it's going to automatically animate those for you. We're going to pull in the first name, and then you can also see in this text, we have the product name dynamically coming in. So those are all the elements that are getting passed through. We also have the link for the image itself. If I go back, voila, it's the same image that we just built.
And now that we have the basics, we can spice it up a bit. So one thing that we're always trying to do is make this the most powerful design tool with data so that it's you almost have a similar experience as working within Photoshop or Figma, et cetera. But, you know, the power of data. And we always listen to our customers and what they want. And so a lot of requests we've had are some various effects. So highlighting text, which we know can be sometimes difficult when it comes to the variations of text length, you know, first names, et cetera. And then also being able to vary up the product shape. So now that we have our basic template set up, we're going to go ahead and give it a little bit of a zhuzh with some of these effects.
So let's come back to the image. You can see here's the elements. We're going to go in here and we're going to go to effects. These are things that you can just drag in over the top and change stuff. But we're going to go ahead and recreate what we had in the slide. So we're going to pull over a highlight, and you can see the highlight colors already set because of how we set the branding up. And then we're going to go ahead and change it into a circle. And I think this is one of the most interesting things that we've seen is, you know, we all see rectangular images of products all the time. And so anything you can do to kind of add a little variance to it is really critical. And with the bigger brands we work with, they demand that kind of control. And they want to be able to add glow effects and other types of effects to the images they create. So this is a great way to get there. And you can see we have recreated what we wanted to do in the effects.
Real quick, can you jump back there?
Yeah.
I just want to show changing the name of the first, or changing the length of the first name, just so that the viewers here can see how that expands with the text. So again, all dynamic. So you have you know, the creativity within the data there. So that was just a little extra.
That's a great point. That is one of the key things is like, you can't design this in Photoshop because all the data is changing all the time. And so when you do something like highlight, you do have to make it dynamic in the ability to change based on the data. Cool.
So let's get into campaigns. Now that we have all of our banners designed, we do have some pre-designed. We're going to go ahead and build out the campaign that we showed you before. So Robert's going to jump in to build out the campaign featuring a welcome banner, cart abandonment, browse abandonment, and package tracking. So go ahead and jump in there. And as you're working with this, I just want to give a little bit of a preface to you know, why we have these use cases. So going back to the philosophy that we had or that we have of the smart banners, taking your triggered, you know, your high value triggered messaging, giving it a more global view across all of your promotional messaging. So those key banners would be, you know, banner cart, abandoned browse, high revenue drivers, welcome program, and package tracking. So sorry, Robert, I'll turn it over to you to kind of explain what you're doing here.
Okay, so what we did is we just created our campaign name. We're going to call this one Summer Smart Banner 2023. And I just picked the first image, abandoned cart, to add to the campaign. So what you'll see at the top is there's a fallback. We're going to go ahead and name this what we want, which is the 600 by 1 pixel. And just depending on the email service provider you're using, sometimes a 600 by 1 for fallback works better than a 1 by 1 pixel. And what this means is if nothing is triggered based on the data, then it's just going to collapse. And what we're going to see is nothing. which is the way we want to go. We only want to provide value at the top of the email. If we're not providing value, we want it to disappear. So we're going to go ahead and call this one the abandoned cart. I can now spell. And close this, and then we're going to add those other 3 images that you saw. So we'll come in here, we'll look up browse, and we'll grab that one. There's browse.
And as you're going through this, I'll mention too, that package tracking might be one that we wouldn't consider being a revenue driver. But it actually does have a bit of a halo effect. So the first thing, in addition to revenue, we also want to improve customer experience. So we, want to reduce the number of calls that come into your contact or your support center saying, where's my package? They have that information right at their fingertips. Having that in your promotional emails, beyond just being a great customer experience, is that people are already in the buying cycle. At least me, I'm anticipating my package arriving. And so I'm still wanting to scratch that itch. And so I'll often end up buying something, being more likely to click on the other offers in the email. Additionally, it just offers that element of hyper personalization so that the customer really feels that you're speaking to them as an individual. So just some interesting little factoid about package tracking and how it actually does help drive some revenue.
Thanks, Diane. Yeah, package tracking is a great one. So now we've got all of these different banners in our campaign. We're going to reorder them. Abandoned cart. Let's put package tracking at the top, because if somebody does have a package, we want them to see that tracking information primarily. The next most important will be abandoned cart, and that's because that's the most revenue driving triggered email that you send, or pretty much everybody sends in their program. Next is browse abandonment for the same reason. And then finally, welcome series. You can build out as many banners as you want in here, but we're going to just start with simple 4 different banners. One last thing to note is with abandoned cart, one of the things we talk a lot about is the variety and having lots of different versions of it. So like this is a campaign and we have 4 different banners, we can create a sub campaign just for cart abandonment that has 7, 10 different versions of that banner that rotate through. So you can create a lot of variety. We're going to go ahead and close out of this campaign, and we're going to just create a couple other campaigns cloning this one. So if I want to clone this and say, change the content for the fall and make all the designs look a little different, I could create a fall smart banner 2023. And then I'll be able to go in here, make all the changes I want, and have it ready to go for the fall. And then the last one we're going to add is, we'll clone it one more time, and we'll do a winter smart banner 2023. So there we go. We have our 3 campaigns set up here, and we'll head back to the slides.
And the reason we set up these campaigns is to show you something that is one of my favorite elements of the platform, being a content management system and being able to schedule things in advance. So as marketers, I'm sure you've all felt the pain of having to stay up till midnight on the day before a sale to launch your new content, to actually swap out email code. So this kind of eliminates the need to do that. We can schedule in advance the campaigns to go live at a specific date and time. So A, you don't have to be up at midnight, and B, you don't have to be touching your email template and risking errors there. So Robert's going to show you real quick how easy that is to do.
So we'll come back over here. I'm going to go to this section called blocks. And this is where you create the code snippet that you actually drop in your email template. And that drives all the decisioning of what content is actually delivered to the end user. So we're going to call this the smart banner. So this is based on that example that we showed at the very beginning. We want this to sit at the top of the email, and we're going to go ahead and add our summer. Let's find our summer banner. And you can see how it says campaign here on the right-hand side, or it says universal image. So a campaign is multiple images like together that we showed with logic surrounding it. But like Diane mentioned, for holiday, if you wanted to just have the hero image and schedule in different images to take over, you can just have those images built out and swap them out using this. So we'll click summer. We're going to go ahead and create this campaign, or this block, sorry. And then we're going to scroll down and set the scheduling. So this is what you just saw on the slides. We're going to go ahead and add our other campaigns that we have. So we have fall or summer, then we're going to go to fall, and we'll schedule that in for, let's just say, September 1st. And this will automatically take over at whatever time we set on September 1st. So it looks like we got 12 a.m. And then you'll see it pop up in what's next up, and it'll tell you the scheduling date. We're going to go ahead and add one more, which is going to be our winter campaign. And we're going to go ahead and schedule that for November, at the end of November. And we'll go ahead and keep the time at 12 a.m. And there you have it. So what you're seeing down here is the summer is live right now. So if we were to send an email and somebody opened it, they would see summer. Once November hit, if they opened any email with the same snippet in it, they would see winter. And then finally, if they open this in, or they would see, if they opened in November, they would see that September, they would see the fall smart banner. So if we scroll back up to the top, you'll see email right here, and this is where we can get the code snippet. So this will be the code snippet that you drop in your email template right here. And then we'll be controlling the logic from the Zembula platform, and you never have to touch that code in the email again.
One thing I'll just mention, a couple of customer experiences. So we all know that the Cyber Week is absolute chaos for most marketers. This is a great way, using the scheduling, to alleviate some of that pain. Excuse me. So you can schedule in advance those, pre-Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaigns, so you're not up at midnight on Thanksgiving. We also have another customer who has monthly sales, and so she has gone ahead and scheduled every single sale banner that she has in advance. So she, did that in January. She doesn't have to think about it again for the rest of the year. So some nice efficiencies, error reduction, and just plain old making life easier. So just to review, what we've created here is our cart abandonment banner from the template, and then also this campaign. So once again, living at the top of your promotional email template, upon open, the platform automatically cross-references the contact with whatever criteria they match, and then serves up that personalized banner at the moment of open, so they're always seeing the most relevant content.
And then we have a bonus for you. So this is a new template. One of the things in our platform is you can build templates, we can build templates. It's very easy to do. But once you build one, it's a lot easier to create the content. So we've got an add to calendar with a countdown timer. We thought this would be a lot of fun. It's one that customers have requested from us after seeing the platform. And all it'll do is just count down. And then if we click the add to calendar button, it's going to add an event to whatever calendar somebody uses. So we're going to go ahead and dive in, and I'll show you how this is made. We got a few features we're going to highlight in this that are new. So let's dive in and see a countdown.
And as Robert's creating this initial part, I'll just mention this works great for, sales in advance. So again, going back to Cyber Week, if you want to tease the idea of Black Friday sale, have someone add a calendar reminder. You can do that. Also works really, really well for new product launches, things like that. So just wanted to throw that in there for you.
Awesome. So we're going to come down here. We're going to look at the different calendar images. This one is closest to what we're looking for. So if we click on it, you can read a little bit about it, but we're going to hold down the Option key and we're going to drag this in. And holding down the Option key is going to leverage all our branding colors. It's going to give us the chance to make any changes. We don't need to. Once this template loads, you're going to see a settings panel that pops up on this left-hand side. And the settings panel gives us a really easy way to make changes that we need to deliver this image. One of the things is, because this is built to build anything, a lot of the times you can get as technical as you want from the data perspective. And the developer can just create a settings tab like this and bring the important things to change up to the front. And this makes it really usable by anybody. So we can go ahead here. We'll set a Saturday. Let's go midnight again. We're going to save it. Unique settings that we need for a calendar invite is we're going to need the event name. So we're going to go ahead and call this Zembulations. This settings tab is something, if you're a customer, you probably haven't seen before, but it's so useful. As you can see, the event location, We're going to go HTTP. You could put a map location or anything you want in here. I'm just going to put our domain for now, and then the event description. So anything you want from the description perspective, you can add in here. I'm going to just add a fun little 4-cent special. A few explanations. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and publish this image. So these other variants that you see here, those are just for the links for the calendars. The only presentation of the image is going to be this top variant. So we'll go ahead and publish this. You can see everything is checked. So this checklist is really handy. If you do have a data problem within the image that you create, it's going to be red and it's going to link you to where you need to go fix something. When you're using a template, a lot of the times it'll always be green for everything. Let's go to testing. This is a really cool feature in our platform. So with testing, there are two things that happen. There's testing within the email service provider when you drop our code into your template. And what that's going to do is let you know what you want to test for, I should say, is whether it's a 1x600 pixel, what happens, does it shut properly or does it leave a hole? If it's, a different size and height, is it working correctly? And does the image render? Once you have those things, the rest of the testing can be done within Zembula. You can create scenarios in here like we did here for Apple, what it looks like when it's expired. It goes to a 1x1 pixel. We have Google, fallback, and a bunch of others. We're going to dive into the Google example. You can see this one says, Diane, don't miss this event. So we've got some first name personalization in here. I'm going to go ahead and change this to Robert, just so that we can see how it changes 4 different names. You can also configure the context in here. So if we want to set language or location or user agent, all of those things are possible. And that lets you create a robust set of lists or a robust set of tests and really make sure everything works perfectly. So let's go ahead and refresh this. We'll see what it comes up with. Give it a second. There we go, Robert. So the last piece of this is we're going to check that the link works correctly and goes to my calendar. When you click on it, it's going to show you where the link's targeted, and then we can go ahead and click out. And there you have it. So here's the event created. It has our title, Zembulations. It has our destination, Zembula.com, and then it has the body copy for that invite. And that is it. So, the general point of this is trying to add features that really make it easy for you to use our platform and get a lot done, whether you're a designer, a marketing specialist, a developer. We want everybody in the platform with the ability to really get stuff done in here with very little effort. And all of the case studies and all the use cases that we provide are really there to help you drive revenue. Let's just kick it off with a review. So built with marketers in mind, like we mentioned, it's really important to us that our customers can use the platform, do everything they want. They can replicate, clone content, go live, make changes. That's all really important. Focusing on design while we handle the data, you'll notice like most of the data is a layer below the content you create. And that's really on purpose so that you as a marketer or a designer can design with data without having to feel the data itself.
And automating content, you guys can probably tell how passionate I am about that, having felt that pain that I'm sure you all have. So that's really great. And then just, customize, giving you the control to keep everything on brand through those brand settings, and then also making other fine-tune adjustments. Again, treating this as a Photoshop for data, really giving you control over the messaging and the branding and everything that your audience sees.
Let's go ahead and hand it off to Cheyenne for Q&A.
Yeah, we got a couple questions. Make sure you get them in now if you have some that you've been holding on to, and we'll be happy to answer them. First up, what happens to the space in the email where the banner is supposed to show if the user doesn't have an abandoned cart or doesn't have a shipment on the way?
That's a great question. So when you're talking about the top of the email, you want to make sure that the information is of value and high value. And if there is no value or you don't have anything, you want it to shut and disappear. So when I set up that 1x1 pixel as the fallback, or the 600 by 1 pixel, that's what'll happen if they don't qualify for anything. It'll just disappear and they'll have an email that doesn't have any content from that specific use case or the smart banner.
So, all right, next up, any character count limitations for names, and are special characters supported?
I can field that one. So a couple things, character count, we can set limitations if you want, but by default, we can handle anything. There's actually a couple of different things that we can do though to handle, for say, like an example would be a review. Sometimes, pardon me, those can get a little bit lengthy. So we can actually set a maximum number of lines so that we're not having content run off the image. So no max number of characters, but we do have ways to control it so that it renders well in all of your images. And then special characters, standard ones, yes, we can handle that.
Perfect. Next up, what kinds of data sources can I use, or do you suggest I use?
So we have a standard set for the smart banner that we're looking for around data feeds and different data sources, but you can connect any data source that you can think of to Zembula. It's really around what is the value that you're going to get out of it and identifying what use cases. So we have things like weather that can enhance the smart banner. We have things like, I'm trying to think of other things, product inventory levels, just anything you can think of.
Yeah, user generated content, social feeds, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And can I clone images?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Diane.
We're both really excited about that. Yeah, so you can clone images. So say you have a banner already designed, and you just want to say make a change from summer to fall, you can just clone that banner like Robert did with the campaign and then make the changes. So you don't have to A, start from scratch, or B, start from a template. You can kind of take all the design elements you've already put in place and then just clone it and make your changes. So yeah, super easy.
Awesome. Kind of related, since we already touched on this a little bit, but do I have to start with a template, or can I start from scratch?
You can start from scratch. Yeah, it's flexible. So we have the template there for, just support and facilitating, getting things up and running and set up quickly. But if you have something custom that you want to do, you can absolutely start from scratch, and we can always kind of guide you through, what you might need to get that up and running. So yeah, lots of flexibility there.
All right. Another question, if a user abandoned a cart 5 days back and browse abandoned 2 days back, will it show browse abandoned to the customer if you have it arranged on top?
So it'll show abandoned cart because that's usually the highest value. But if you did swap them around, then you could make browse abandonment the priority. But we would always recommend, if they have a cart, you want to show them the cart and the items they have in it.
Okay, and then if this is a second part of the same question, can you manipulate that based on number of days?
Yes, absolutely. So we kind of have algorithms that are built out to make the decisioning, but you can also modify those. And so we have a lot of customers that have very specific needs, and we're able to really fit any requirement.
One that comes to mind, we have a customer that has a few different abandoned cart banners that they've set up. And so they have like a basic one that shows initially, and then after a certain amount of days, if the cart is over a certain amount, it shows, and they have afterpay. So it shows the breakdown of what the actual payments would be. So again, just setting up custom, putting together these custom settings and different content to help get people over the hump of making that purchase. So a lot of flexibility as far as what we can do with that as well.
Cool. I think that's it for questions. All right, we hope.
Wait, we have one more that just came in.
Oh, yep, I just see it.
What type of integration?
What type of integrations do you support?
So at this point, we can integrate with pretty much anything, any type of API. You can also webhooks, any type of webhooks. We can do dependent calls. So if package tracking is a great example of that, where you need to first go get the tracking number from the commerce platform, and then you need to go look up against the right carrier, whether it's UPS or FedEx, and then come back with a designed image. So yeah, I mean, we can store and cache content or data on our side too. So yeah, if you would like to learn more, we're happy to set up a quick demo. But really anything you can think of connection type, we can handle.
All right, I think that's it this time for real, unless anything sneaks in. All right, I hope you learned a lot today in this very special webinar. We're so happy to have you here and host something like this for the first time. If you'd like to learn more about Zembula, please visit our website. You can also sign up for a demo and we can dive a little bit deeper into the platform and talk about how it can fit your specific needs. In the meantime, look out for the email with the recording and slides and reach out if you have any questions. Thanks for being here, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.
everybody.
Bye.